this whole discussion is about the fight for democracy, and we have here a pretty broad group of people in terms of age, ethnicity, everything else. I have a feeling most are not Republicans. But how could each of us, whether we're, in politics or not, really fight for our democracy, regardless of our age or our station, and regardless of our lives? How can we do that? I know you're so good at inspiring others.
Well, let me just say that I hope there are some Republicans here so I can say to you, take back your party. The country needs... The country needs a strong Republican Party, not one that has been hijacked as a cult. And we really need it, because Barbara and I and George and John and all, we served in a bipartisan way in the Congress, and we can go back to that. Confident and proud of what we believe in, humble enough to listen to others, eager enough to find consensus for our country. And that's not what is happening now. And people say, oh, it's gridlock. It's not gridlock. It's obstruction. It's an obstruction of those who do not believe in governance or science or just what our founders created. So in order to answer to your question about how, I always say that what we should be doing is worthy of the vision of our founders, worthy of the sacrifice of our men and women in uniform, and worthy of the aspiration of our children, the aspiration about the future, Our founders, although all white men, were geniuses. They really were very brilliant. And they created something. Imagine the courage. Thomas Paine said, the times have found us at that time. The times found them to declare independence, to fight a war, to win it, to write our founding documents, and to do so in a way that was, thank God, amendable, so that we could always be expanding freedom. Now, we don't like some of the things that were there, but nonetheless, imagine that this was the first time ever that a country was founded on an idea, not geography and ethnicity the way the rest of the world had been. This was great. And again, always wanting to improve what was there, but worthy of that. The times have found us now to protect that. The times found Lincoln to hold it together. Now, we don't place ourselves in a category of people like our founders or Lincoln, but we do recognize the urgency of the assault on our democracy now. Mm-hmm. So I would say that one of the things that the previous occasional occupant of the White House would do was to undermine freedom of the press. In my view, freedom of the press is the guardian of our democracy. Freedom of the press to be able to tell what is going on. And what did he do but try to undermine the credibility of the press, undermine the credibility of institutions of government, just really, it was very clever. It was very authoritarian, autocratic. But it was a plan, and they went down that path, and they have had some level of success of undermining the collective conscience of our country, that we all agree as certain things are right. We may disagree on how to get to that, but certain things are right. So what we have to do, and I say this very optimistically, I know it's possible because I believe in the American people, in their goodness, and the goodness of the American people, and the beauty of the diversity of the American people. In our caucus, we are, Barbara, I know you said that only 25% of the Congress are women, but a third of our caucus are women. We have a higher average than, we bring up the average in the Congress, and we want more. But we have 70% of our caucus are women, people of color, LGBTQ. That is something remarkable. Something remarkable. So all of us have to assume our responsibility, because the times have found each and every one of you. You came here today you have some idea about what we can do to preserve our democracy. The people in Ukraine are fighting a fight for their democracy, but in their fight, they're fighting for everybody's democracy, because it's a fight against autocracy, and we all owe them. We all owe them a great deal. So while they're fighting that fight in a war, we have to fight it here. And of course, elections are a way to do that. If you saw some of the plans that they have, if they were to win, God forbid, I'm mixing politics and religion there, God forbid. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe. But the fact is that, again, it's not about partisanship. That's the least of it. It's about patriotism for our country, and to ensure that people who run for office are there to protect our democracy. And that's why I say we need a strong Republican Party. When I say that to the Republicans, they say, not in Congress, because that's pretty hopeless, but others, take back your party. They said, well, we can't beat them in the primary. You have to beat them in the general, and then we can come back to our normal fight. So politics is a route to saving our democracy, because it is an instrument of our democracy.
Exactly.